The documentary is about half-hour long, and it begins, now the first clip is the only one which is not credited, which is with Frederick March, and the film is So Ends Our Night, with John Cromwell made that, right. A John Cromwell film, and all the others are credited, so you'll be able to really get a sense of the wonderful breadth and accomplishment of this wonderful actress. And I want to thank the various people who've helped make this event possible. We will, after the documentary, we'll show a short trailer, which we got from the UCLA archives of If I Were King, which is a wonderful 1938 film in which Frances Dee starred with Ronald Colman, which is a marvelous film. And then we will show a restored 35 millimeter print of I Walk with a Zombie, which is a 1943 film which was produced by Val Lewton and directed by Jacques Tourneur. And it was actually also edited, I'll mention, by a very good friend of mine's father, Mark Robeson. And actually, Martha Robeson Bardak hoped that she could be here tonight, but wasn't able to. And the three of them worked together on a whole series of films for RKO. It was a new unit that RKO put together in 1942, and Val Lewton was made the head of this unit to make sort of B horror films, which is certainly not a genre that Frances Dee was ever associated with, and she can talk a little bit about her association with this film. And the first of the films that they made together, and again, these are the three people I mentioned, Lewton and Jacques Tourneur and Mark Robeson. Of course, Mark Robeson went on to direct many great films himself, such as The Champion and Home of the Brave and many other films, and some films not so great like Valley of the Dolls and Peyton Place, but in any case, he was a wonderful director. And the first film that they made together was Cat People, which is also quite a famous film, and then they also made Leopard Man. And one of the most famous is this film from 1943, which has often been called the Jane Eyre of the tropics, and said to be loosely based on Jane Eyre. And I know that Frances Dee would have preferred that they had called it something else other than I Walked with a Zombie, but it's a really wonderful film. Now, I want to thank the Tufts Film Series that's been so helpful in getting this event together and are projecting this archival print on 35 millimeter projector, which is a really a wonderful service that they're providing to us, and hopefully people will support the Tufts Film Series. But also the Tupin Fund for the Arts at Tufts has supported this event in various departments, such as the Sociology and Anthropology Department, my own, the Drama Department, Art History Department, American Studies, and the International Letters and Visual Studies. And we also got support from Verizon. And if people have not been over to the Somerville Museum, this whole series that we're doing is part of the Lost Theaters of Somerville exhibition, which has been going on all year and will be going on until March 28th. So I recommend that you come and visit the exhibition and visit us in February when we're going to continue this series, and a very interesting event's going to take place. We're going to premiere a new film on the life of Olive Thomas, who was a very early silent screen actress who died in Paris in 1920. And a very, very interesting career and a very interesting film. So please come February 19th, and that's going to be a wonderful event. So without further ado, and we will start the documentary, and please, afterwards, Frances will come on stage along with Andrew Wentic and myself, and we'll have a chance to talk about her career in this film and various other aspects. Okay, thank you very much for coming.
divorce me. You must divorce me. And go tomorrow. Say you want to divorce me because of my political views. You say you hadn't realized before what they were. It's only to make you sick. It would drive me crazy if they did anything to you. You must divorce me, and then I will leave you alone. I love you, Eureka. I love you more than anything in the world. I won't leave unless you promise. I'll give myself up if you don't promise. You promise? Right. I'm going to turn back now. During the butcher booth. You go right and come around to meet me. I just want to see you once. Then I'll go. If you hear nothing, it'll mean I got safely across.
I walked with a zombie. Does seem an odd thing to say. Had anyone said that to me a year ago, I'm not at all sure I would have known what a zombie was. I might have had some notion that they were strange and frightening, even a little funny. It all began in such an ordinary way.
You're single?
Yes?
Where were you trained?
Memorial Hospital here in Ottawa.
Now, this last question is a little irregular, Miss Connell. I really don't know quite how to begin. I believe in witchcraft.
Well, they didn't teach it at Memorial Hospital, but I had my suspicions about the directors of training.
Now, as to salary, that's quite good. $200 a month.
It is good. But I'd like to know a little bit more about the case.
I'm afraid I can't tell you much. Only that the patient is the wife of Mr. Paul Holland, with whom we do considerable business.
Another interview?
No, this is quite final. You see, Mr. Holland is a sugar planter. He lives on St. Sebastian in the West Indies.
The West Indies?
That's not so bad. Sit under a palm tree, go swimming, take sun baths.
Palm trees.
Chance to talk with you?
Oh, please, about what?
Oh, you're gonna find out.
Oh, my God. Wow.
To present, these were
Oh,
sent
yellow
to you by
rose
your
of
grandson
Texas.
Mitchell. And your daughter-in-law Kim, and the penis. They sent these to you. And
That pulls me out of that. Because if there ever was a downer.
the downer, the movie, or seeing yourself, or what? Because I didn't think so. And I wanted to also present you with this.
Oh, those are so beautiful. Gotta smell them. My daughter-in-law, Texas. Well, no, but I mean, you know about yellow rose. Oh, they're beautiful.
Her grandson
Thank
Mitchell,
you.
who lives in Texas, and sent that.
Well, now, what did you really think?
I want to have a chance for people to ask questions, and they just necessarily have to relate to this film, but anything about her career, or any of the many people that she worked with, if people aren't familiar with some of
Anything you want.
the films that were shown. She worked with some of the greatest directors in Hollywood history. George Cukor, who directed Little Women, William Wellman, Love is a Racket, William
Yeah.
Wyler, who I think was probably one of the greatest directors in the history of motion pictures, who directed Gay Deception, which I think perhaps is one of your really great films. John Cromwell, I think you did a couple of...
Cromwell, yes.
Yeah, you did a couple of films with John Cromwell, wonderful director.
Yes.
So, a lot of questions to ask about those and the films, and a lot about the incredible cast of actors that Frances worked with, which, as you could see, Ronald Colman, Gary Cooper, her husband, of
Well,
course.
ask any questions you want. I'll try to
Gentleman right back there
answer
who wants to
them.
begin.
I think I noticed a musical among the list of films you made, a picture called Patrick
Patrick the Great.
That's,
What?
He's asked Patrick the Great with Donald O'Connor.
that's,
Well, that would have been fun.
and I think that it was the very first picture you made as a star, Playboy.
Yeah, what about it? What does he want to know
He
about
says your
it?
very first one was Playboy of Paris.
What I want to know is
What?
what I want to know is whether you did any singing and dancing.
Oh, he wants to know if you did any singing and dancing in the movies, like Playboy of Paris or Patrick the Great.
Did I dance in them? Heavens, no. I was not a dancer. I wasn't even an actress.
I said, actually, if you saw the clip from Along Came Youth with Buddy Rogers, the second clip, that originally was supposed to be a musical as well. But because Frances was not a singing star at the time, they changed it to a comedy.
I thought the zombie movie was really good. You feel proud of yourself? I think you should.
What did they say?
She said she thought Zombie was wonderful and you should be proud to be in it. And you did. You were
Oh,
wonderful.
well, please.
Do you not like?
The what?
Do you not like that movie?
No. Do you?
Why not? Why do you like it?
Where is my cousin?
Why don't you like it?
My cousin was here. Did she listen? Oh, I thought you must have. I'll see you later, huh? That is my.
Jackie said you were magnificent in it.
Oh, bless her heart. We do stick together.
Yeah.
What was the favorite movie that you acted in?
What was your favorite movie?
What was my favorite movie?
Yes.
A real light one called Gay Deception.
You saw a clip.
Oh, yes. It was a few shots with Frances Lederer.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful movie.
Well, it was upbeat. I don't know.
Was this the zombie movie, was that, where was that really filmed?
What is that lady saying?
Where was it filmed?
Where was that? Oh, sorry, go ahead, David.
Where was it filmed? Where'd they actually make that film?
This film? On the back lot. hard to believe, but they brought in a lot of vegetation and natives and hot music and went to work.
What did you think of working with Dr. Nier?
What did you think? Well, lady asked, what did you think of working with Jacques Tourneur?
What did I think of Jacques Tourneur? Oh, well, I think he, and has been said since by other directors, that he more than knows the type of, in directing a picture of this type. But he became a family friend, Joe, and he hit it off, and he and his wife would come out to the ranch, spend the weekend. He loved it when I would sit and read to the kids, what was it, Huckleberry Finn. That was one of his favorite things to do, sitting here about Huckleberry Finn.
Well, I want to interrupt for 1 minute, since she mentioned that about the stories. Two of Frances's co-stars in the clips you saw in the first film are here with her. One of them was her son, Jody McCrae, who she was expecting in Of Human Bondage, and her son, David, who she was expecting in Gay Deception. So two of her co-stars made their debut. Her third son is here. Well, Peter, I'm trying to think of how to tie in the Huckleberry Finn, but anyways, but you were not the Huckleberry Finn, they were the Huckleberry Finn. But her third son, Peter, is here as well.
Hi! Did you how courageous of you.
That's great. Yeah.
First thing I want to say that I have admired your work tremendously, and to see you in person and doing the show, Little Women.
I can't hear a word, you know, but they'll translate to me.
It's really fantastic to see you in person. And who inspired you to start your acting? The reason why I'm asking is because years ago my mother performed with Helen Hayes and Lloyd Bridges. And I always ask my mother how she got motivated, and I'd like to ask you that question. Thank you.
She's asking who motivated you as an actress. You told the story the other night who you first saw as an actress, who inspired you as an actress.
When I first thought I wanted to be one?
No, when you thought you could do film acting.
And who inspired you?
Who inspired you in film acting?
What was that woman's name? You know.
Ruth Chatterton.
Well, you know the one that I saw.
Right, Ruth Chatterton, but she wants you to tell her.
Ruth Chatterton, does anybody remember? She was quite an actor, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But she was not a great beauty, you know, and the ones before her, like Norma Talmadge, anybody remember who I'm talking about? Were all, I mean, they were incredibly head turners. And I said, oh, I couldn't do that sort of thing. But now Ruth Chatterton played a very emotional scene in which she strangled herself. That makes this look like... with a telephone. She was talking to her former love, and he didn't want anymore, so she wound.
Do you know what film that? What film was that?
The what?
I forget that one. That was an
You
early
forgot that one?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, because then after I got to Paramount, I said, well, if they'll let me strangle myself, but this was better. When this came on, but you've got to admit it's not an upper. No. But it's running in Paris as though it were. On the Champs-Élysées, wasn't it?
Yes.
Somebody told me?
It's
Is that what you told me?
Jody. It's considered a classic, as most of you probably know of the genre.
They call it a cult
Classic.
something, you know.
But it ran in Paris for a year.
Yes.
Two of my favorite movies all time are Sullivan's Travels and Foreign Correspondent, which starred her husband. I've seen each of them 20 times. And I'm wondering if she was ever offered the co-starring role of the husband, and if not, would she have liked to have been in the
In those two particular films?
Right.
He wants to know if you were offered either the role, the lead in either Sullivan's Travels or in Foreign Correspondent.
Or a foreign correspondent. No, was I? No.
How many movies did you make with your husband, Joel?
With my husband, I did about 3, 4, yes. Well,
4.
is that right?
Was the last one Four Faces West? Was that the final one?
Four Faces West. Yeah, the one that was quite a famous little Western because no shot was fired in that. You know, he just, oh, yes.
We have a question.
I Walk the Zombie is one of my favorite of your films. My other favorite film that you did is If I Were King. So one question I want to ask about this film, though, was there a conscious effort to get the history of the voodoo religion right? Because in a lot of other movies, there's not such a conscious effort to get things right. And as a person who actually practices the religion, I was wondering if there was a conscious effort to get that right.
She wants to know if Val Lewton and Jacques Tourneur made a conscious effort to portray voodoo realistically in this film.
Oh, yes. Do you think so?
Yes, but this young lady
Oh,
thinks
yes.
so as well.
Oh, I think so. They were both, well, they believed in the story or something. Yes, they were very,
You feel
and they got all of us to believe in it.
Oh, did you hear what she
Yes.
just...
What? She can't hear me, huh?
No, she heard you. No, I just wondered if the young lady had heard you say they got all of you to believe it.
Yes.
Well, she said that she practices and she is impressed with the authenticity of the film.
Oh, the authenticity of the film. Now I really don't think I'll sleep.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask maybe others about
What?
this, but I was curious who her favorite leading man was.
What did she ask?
She wants to know who your favorite leading man was.
Oh, please. You can put me on now. My favorite, well, obviously my husband, darling. But I mean it. Oh, yes, I could boss him around.
Okay, could I ask you your second favorite?
My second favorite?
Yeah.
My second favorite. Oh, I think it from the great European actor that I worked with in
Francis Lederer?
Lederer.
Yeah, that was a great actor.
I couldn't remember his name.
Francis Lederer, yeah, he was a wonderful.
Francis Lederer,
Who
yes.
later on had a drama school in Los Angeles.
Well,
which
yes.
One of our professors, Joel Rosenberg, went to when he was a high school student in LA.
Went to what?
Went to Francis Lederer's drama school. He teaches world cinema.
Well, I forgot he did have a drama school.
Later on.
He was the easiest to play with. He was less taken with himself he knew his part. There were no games. It was just good, solid acting career. Letterer. Oh, I think if you do happen to see the picture, that you will agree with me.
Yes.
Pull that out, will you? Somebody asked something up there? Who was it?
Many opportunities like today, like this evening, to go around and ask and listen to people critique your film.
No, I wanted to give it to my
She said, the lady, oh, go ahead, David.
Francis, she wants to know if you have many opportunities like this to travel around and have people watch your films and to actually speak to
Oh,
them.
no. This has been a first. I'm startled on a frosty night that this many people would come and see some old 1930 pictures. But you told me they would.
That's true, and they also wanted to meet you.
I'm just wondering how she was discovered.
Francis, that young man in the back wants to know how you were discovered.
Oh, no. Well, it is kind of an interesting little story because I think anyway, because my father said if I couldn't get out of doing, I was at the University of Chicago because there's some kind of a scholarship for Army officers' daughters, and my mother got me in, and then when we decided to jump in the car with my sister and her new groom and go to California with him, because no, I won't say this in Boston, it's not the thing to say in Boston, but most Californians are always trying to get back home, and we were trying to, my mother and I, and she said, you know they're going out there that your brother-in-law has been offered a good job in something more north in California. Shall we go? Oh, I said, let's go. Come on, let's go. So I left school, and my father said, but if you're in 1 year, you don't come back. I mean, you don't get out of acting in what am I trying to say?
If you don't succeed in acting.
No, it wasn't like that. It was if you don't get out of
Get it out of your system?
no, dude, get out of get out of
Oh, the extra parts?
extras,
Oh, right, okay.
yes. You have to come back to school. So I'll give you a year. Well, the year was coming to a close and I was still doing extra work. I loved it because I got $7 a day as opposed to when I worked at the Tribune for $18 a week. Yeah. So it was money oriented. And we the year was up. And my father was making noises that my mother could hear. I paid no attention to. And then one day, you all remember Maurice Chevalier? Yes. See, they do remember Chevalier. Well, Chevalier had come over, was done a couple of pictures very successfully at Paramount. I was under contract as just a $20 a week girl or something. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, the year was about up. And you've heard this a few times. The year was about up. And I was in the commissary having lunch, and he was looking because he started the following Monday a new picture with a girl that must look like a student. And he decided I looked like a student across the room, so he should have known. I never got anything. I won't say this in school, this won't help people. But I never got anything more than a C in my life. There I sat having lunch, and he called over the young man I was sitting across from and said, "Now who's that girl? She looks like a young girl could play the part in the, it was called Playboy of Paris." Very poor picture. Don't ever go to see it if you see it. Ridiculous. So he said, "Bring her over, let me talk to her." Well, I was shaking, of course, the great Maurice. So he said, "Can you act?" I said, "Of course." And he said, "Well, how do you know?" And I said, "Oh, I've been at the Pasadena Playhouse every night last week doing a part, and they didn't run me off the stage, so yes, I'll act." He said, "Well, take this script home and come back Monday, and and try to know as much as you can of the part, and if you're any good at all, you can be my leading lady." Woo! So that's exactly what happened. Well, the Chicago papers, because I'd worked for the Chicago Tribune for a summer, they had a lot of fun with that, hometown girl makes good and all that. Just in time, the year was up. And I stayed on at Paramount then and did the pictures you had to see, If I Were King and some of those. And then I did the picture with him. Well, now you're in once you do something of that. Well, I mean, usually you're in. And then they put me in the Buddy Rogers picture and one after another, and I was in. And I was making money. Oh, don't turn that down, And then Jody and David arrived, and now I'm really a homebody. Oh, sure. That was tough. I'd be at the studio and I'd want to be home. I'd be at home. I'd want to be at the studio. But there they sit, and there they are, and they kept begging when they got old enough for school to go to a little one-room schoolhouse down the road. And I finally said, "Oh, okay, for 1 year we'll move to the ranch." Do you remember? No, of course you don't, because you were just in school. And so Pop was delighted. He wanted to live at the ranch. Just a little broken down ranch in Thousand Oaks, California. But they loved it, and so it was wonderful to watch them enjoy living out there and go every morning. I'd walk down with them, and they'd get on the bus for the little school. Now that you must remember, do you? He does. Okay. And they had such a wonderful time that a year became another year, another year, another year. We lived out there for 20 years. And you finished school there and then you went to Moore Park High, didn't you? Did he go to?
His last year.
His last year to Moore Park High. And Jody decided, because he knew some friends going to the Institute. So tell me about what that Institute is.
No, Jody's right there.
Jody,
New Mexico Military Institute.
the what?
The New Mexico Military Institute.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he had a friend there, and he said, oh, and he went there, loved it, and got to be a leader, which he didn't mind, and would walk around on Sunday. They'd have the drills, you know, and they made Jody one of the drill captains. Do 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 do. You loved that, and they got a kick out of watching you. The people in the stand, including your father and mother.
Any other questions?
So that brought us to New Mexico, huh?
We have another question,
Should we take
Francis.
some more?
Yeah, I think so. Did you have a question?
George?
Yeah, my question
Yes,
is,
I'll answer up there.
what's your opinion of
What did he ask?
What do you think of current films?
Of what?
Current films. What do you think of current films?
Well, some of them are fabulous. What about Dances with Wolves? I saw it again the other night on television. One of the big ones. Oh. Have you seen it lately, folks? Well, try it out if it comes back on. Beautiful, beautiful picture. Wonderful performances. So you get good ones and you get stupid ones. Just like anywhere. Yes?
A lot of the clips we saw, if you can just tell, I'm going to say this film, the films were, she had a romantic role.
What did Our Lady say?
She said in most of your films you had a romantic role.
How long did that have a romantic?
No. She said in most. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were a lot, we'll explain to her again.
Well, what's your...
Yeah, so say the question and then we'll redo. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just curious if there was any other role. A lot of these were from the 1930s. You know,
What did she say about
was there
romantic
any other
role?
role that she wished she could have had? Then, or, you know, as she got older?
What roles would you have liked to have played that you didn't get a chance to play?
But I think part of her question, Francis, underlying it maybe in terms of the limitation of roles offered to women. I don't know if you're speaking about that. Most of your roles were romantic roles.
Yes.
And I think she's asking, if
Was
I'm
there,
reading into it,
was there an opportunity, or did she want other kinds of
right,
roles?
were there other type of roles that you would have liked to have had and maybe weren't able to?
Yes. I would have loved to have played Snake Pit. Remember that one? That was a strong acting part. Yeah, anything where you chew up the scenery. Or got a chance to.
But did she try out for that? Did she? Oh, no.
Did it answer?
try out for that part?
Aren't you all exhausted after that thing?
I just wanted to know,
Oh,
after
oh
57 years
boy.
of marriage to the most
You
desirable
are.
leading man in
No,
Hollywood,
you're
if she
not
had any
exhausted.
marriage tips.
Oh, good question.
Secret to the happy marriage.
This is a good question. This person has asked, after 57 years married to the most desirable man in Hollywood, if you have any tips about marriage.
Do I have any tips about it?
About marriage.
About
Make it
marriage?
work. She would like to
Well,
know.
just like with anything, just stick with it. Through thick and to thin. Just stick there. Somebody told me a good one last night. It was a priest. He said that he's asked that all the time because he was an advisor. And he said, then somebody told him, patience, yes. We all know how much patience it takes to live with anybody with different ideas than yours. But with this, he said, then somebody said to him, yes, but patience with yourself. Do you like that? I thought that was pretty great. First, patience with yourself, then patience with your mate.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
That lady who asked the question about what part she wanted didn't really get a part of her answer. She wanted to know, did you make any effort to try to test for those films, or like just a Snake Pit, or were you offered those films?
Well, being under contract, they had me lined up, so I didn't do too much about trying, to get
It's
it
another
right.
studio.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much for coming. That was great.
oh, well, thank you, 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 for coming, for coming.
There's a story that L.C. Lyles was a producer at Paramount for a few years, and Bob Hope said they were saying they're contemporary. And
Now, what do you want on
Oh, just your name.
All right.
all those girls, and they wrote it down. And there's also, for instance,
I was looking at the list a while back, and it's when you just pick up like the notes like
yeah.
what's his name? Forrest Kelly. It was just look at the whole list. Yeah.
She was no, she was
very much.
It's only an hour and a half, but 90 minutes. To Jerry.
It's all good.